Good morning, Samana. Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to background myself. Grew up in India in a pretty relatively uh, good background, but always been concerned about the problem that I saw in India, the poverty and other issues. So I've been very passionate about trying to find solutions to problems. That has been my passion. And about 35 years back, a long time back, I did start a consulting company in New Delhi called the Idea Machine, based on some of the software I had collaborated with a professor in Virginia Tech. So that I did for a long time, and that involved going into multiple directions, problem solving, even the IDC algorithm for cause and effect analysis, which has obviously spanned machine learning, the whole industry. So I was involved with that initially, then also into manufacturing optimization using dynamic simulation and work study in other areas. So that was there. Then I moved to the US and I've been here for now 25 years, uh, in mostly really all the time in SAP, that some people call it that way. So I picked up my old work, and what I've done now is to develop a methodology and a tool set for solving complex problems.
Mhm.
And this presentation is about that. So it is basically from service to product kind of a thing. Yeah. So this is the value proposition that we have. We are focusing only on complex problems. There are other types of problems which are basically simple problems, complicated problems, and chaotic problems, which you don't deal with that. Any questions?
Well, I assume you will, yeah, target customer and all of that. So keep going with your presentation. I will give you feedback after we and ask
Okay,
questions as we go along.
right. So this is basically looking at solving problems, and this is enabling anybody really, organizations obviously, to understand and solve their problems. So the whole process and methodology of trying to understand problems and then come up with more creative or better solutions that are being currently implemented. It has the pain point, as I mentioned out, that if you go to Google about problem solving, you come with multiple, iterations of where people have done it. Some have 3 steps and 4 steps. I have done what I call is a 6-step process. The pillars of the 6-step process, and which is really what limits itself to a wider application, that the client should be prepared to have this self-directed team, so they can bring the whole team together in the whole process solving process. So you are trying to solve the problem, not using outside consultants, but empowering your own people through the whole process and the tool set to understand your problems, because the domain knowledge that you have internally about the issues, and then go about doing that. Second part is basically called framework. So you could think of, we always think in terms of framework. We human beings trying to get a structure or a model regarding the various issues. So we have built a library, accessed available libraries, and built a library of about 1,000 frameworks that can be used for a very wide range of issues to be able to get that. And those are the frameworks that get started. So to
Now,
start the whole journey.
Abhi, what is your assumption? Is this like a database where people are going in and searching thing, or do you have actually a service that people, submit problems, come to you with problems, and your team applies these frameworks to solve them?
Right. So we work together on an online basis, and we access those frameworks as and when required at a particular point in time. So we are working with the client as a consultant, and it is not the typical consulting that we come and debrief the client, understand their problem, go back and find a solution. We work continuously with the client using the framework to get started, and go through the whole journey, the 6-step process together.
Mhm.
And the third step of it, so one is team, second is the framework we talked about. Second is that whatever you enter, so the data is, text is, because we're not dealing with data, we're dealing with text. When you enter the text, we have this coding done. We get instant visualization of those data, that has the text that has been entered. And these are some of the examples of some of the visualizations. The same data, the text, right, all this together, can be viewed in multiple ways. So some is 2x2 matrix, some is 4x, fishbone diagram, mind map, and other things that they've built. So this coding allows us to build those instant visualization. So the user is able to get a feedback instantly of how they're thinking, and which provides a stimuli to think in different direction and expand understanding and solutions that they do. Because that is how creativity typically works. The more stimuli you provide, the more better you get at the next round iteration. And this is what the instant visualization does, that you keep expanding on the initial issues and then you go forward from there. Any
Okay.
questions? Yeah. So this is the 6-step process that we have: problem analysis, cause and effect analysis, idea generation, decision analysis, unintended analysis, which I think I have a separate site, unintended.org, which tries to anticipate the law of unintended consequences, because a lot of people come with a lot of good intentions, have solutions, policy decisions are made at various levels, but they don't look at what could be go wrong with those decisions. So there's a whole exercise that we try to do as part of this 6-step process to look at what could be going wrong and what could be the mitigation that we could do to improve the solutions, and we can separately. And then obviously the outcome analysis, we take input and actions that need to get to better outcome. So as I see, the custom acquisition is from a service to a product. So initially one is trying to work with individual companies, like the clients, to fine tune the system in the process. I have done the best I could from my understanding of the situation, but yes, there could be ways to definitely improve the situation through any tool. And then once the tool is accepted by a set of client customers have worked on it, then want to turn it into a SaaS product. It is currently a SaaS product, but it's not open SaaS product, so it's currently all SaaS product.
So do you have any customer at the moment?
I don't have a customer, but we have a use case on the site that I can, based on credentials, then one can have a look at the whole 6-step process and how one goes about it.
I'm actually more interested in figuring out what is the strategy for getting to validation. And it doesn't have to be your SaaS product. I'm just wondering if let's say you start engaging with a customer or you have to engage with a number of customers, can you, by applying your framework and methodology to their problems, can you actually create value such that they're willing to pay you? We'll come to SaaS and productization later, but just in a services mode, can you deliver value? Can you get paid for it? That's my question.
Absolutely. That's the whole approach, right? Yeah. So the whole approach is they will be able to do better than what they're currently doing, starting with even understanding the problem. So before we solve a problem, you have to understand the real problem. And for example, the first step is problem analysis. And one of the first steps in problem analysis that I have is assumption analysis. What are the assumptions underlying your understanding of the world around you, about yourself and the world around you?
So I think your questions, I'm looking at your questions, and they're not the right questions.
Okay.
At this stage, those are not the right questions. I don't know what features would be helpful, and I don't care, because I'm not the person who should be telling you those features. Your customers should be telling you those features. I'm not your customer. The important question is perhaps question number 3, and maybe question number 1, which is, how do you, right now you have to do services. You don't have a product, you're not ready for a product. And I don't think, I think your understanding of what is needed in this product is still limited, because no customer has really worked with you on this. So at the moment, I want to know how you are going to get a bunch of customers on a pure services mode, and how much do you think you can charge them? So who is the customer? Who is the ideal customer?
Yeah, so that's a great point, and that is the search space for actual customers. One way that I'm looking at that companies now have dedication, innovation officers of a team that is going to look at trying to find innovations in this workspace, right?
Yeah,
And
but
they could be,
is innovation your domain? Your domain is problem solving. What is the kind of problem in what vertical do you want to go after? Right? Problems, there are horizontal problems and then there are vertical problems. There are vertical
Mhm.
domain specific problems in different industry sectors and so forth. So is there a particular industry sector where you have contacts, where you have, how can you question about what is the best approach to getting quick validation? This is not quick validation. What you need to do is get people to basically give you work so that you can prove, your concept. So
Mhm.
where do you have contacts? How do you want to position this? Problem
So this
solving is a very generic um, positioning. You're going to need to get more specific, narrower with it.
Right. So you're right about that. So basically, I'm thinking initially, it is about complex problems.
Yeah.
It is not about simple problem or even complicated problem. Like manufacturing a car is a complicated problem. Okay. I'm not going into manufacturing a car, complicated problem. They are complex problems with the intersections, knowing even the causes of the problem. Because if you look at
But I
deeply,
get it. So you have an idea of what is the complex problem. So you need to figure out where those complex problems are, and you need to position your customer acquisition strategy on such problems. So give me an example of if you had to pick, what would be your ideal problem in what sector, what is that problem? And then I can help you think through how to approach finding customers in that domain.
yeah, I'll give you an example. This is a use case we have in the study that I've done, not with the customer, but thinking through the whole thing. The company XYZ in Europe has making garments, and they feel a lot of competition. They see economy slowing down. They see interest rates going down. So they want to now optimize their operations. So this is basically labor optimization. And so this is a whole process that I take them through in the 6-step process. That how would they first of all understand what are the stakeholders, for example, who are the stakeholders who will be interested as part of the solution or part of the problem? What are the goals of each of the stakeholders? What are the companies, like I said, assumptions first of all? Then once they have done the whole problem analysis stage, you go for cause and effect analysis. What is causing the problem to the way it is? Because a lot of time people go and look at the problem and try and find ideas or solutions to that problem.
Okay, so
I don't do that.
let's go back to a garment house.
Mhm. Mhm.
You said it's a European garment house who has these problems. Don't all garment houses have this problem?
This is an example. This is just this will try to make it specific. This all any company, for example, who wants to optimize their operations, right? A company, everybody feels competition. Everybody feels the interest rates are going down. Everybody in Europe and USA feels that the Asian competitors are getting to them, very close to them. How do they optimize their
Who is
operations
the
to
who is the most likely buyer of your solution? Is it the CEO? Is it the CFO? Is it the COO? Who is the most likely buyer? It sounds like it has to
everybody?
be a high level buyer.
Sorry.
It sounds like it has to be a high level buyer.
Exactly. Somebody who has the power to understand, who is already using some kind of a solution, or who's able to understand that this framework can help them solve internally the problem without reaching out for, let's say, mechanism of the word, that they can use this framework to solve it. And they have sufficient
Have any
smart capabilities.
contact? Do you have any
Sorry?
contact with any such person
No,
who
I've not
trusts
done
you?
it. So I've not done it till now.
No,
I will
that's not
do
my
it. I'm
question.
just
My question is do you know anyone who is this a high level decision maker like you're talking about, who trusts you and who would work with you in this mode? Do you have such contacts?
No, I don't have that. Even the company I'm working for, I can sell it to them. but I'm not selling it right now. I can reach out. That's not a problem. So my solution to me is pretty well developed. The only question is what you're challenging me on that is that have you reached out or you know personally? No, I don't. But I think there's a large space of people, large number of people, given the opportunity to present what I'm talking about, especially the use case that I have developed and put on the website, it will give them an understanding about how the
Yeah,
six-step process.
but this, what you're selling is a complex solution itself.
Right.
So getting very busy people to give you an opportunity to, work with them. Basically, what they're going to have to commit is time. They're going to have to trust you, and they're going to have to commit time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so easy to get people, high-level people, to do that.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm asking you, do you have any existing relationships where you can go in and get permission to do your process and solve a problem and show people what you can do?
So I think so. You're right about that. I don't have it, but what I was trying to get from you, from based on your experience, is the value. Is you see any value from your perspective, or you can obviously say that I don't see any value in that. That's perfectly fine with me. I'm not going to be impacted by
I
that.
never say that to anybody. That's just not how I operate.
No, but the point is, I think you are asking me that do I know somebody? So if I say I know somebody, will that solve the problem? Will that satisfy?
No, the question that you're asking me, you need to go ask somebody who is willing to give a problem to you to solve.
Absolutely,
I'm
I
not
will do
giving
that.
you a problem to solve. I am asking you to go find somebody who is willing to give you a problem to solve. So customer validation, the philosophy of customer validation, I don't do customer validation. You need to target customers to do your customer validation.
Yeah.
So our methodology of validation and customer validation is, especially in something like this, is not a quick process at all. You're asking what is the best approach to getting quick validation. There is no approach to quick validation, especially with something complicated like this. So you're going to need to, I think the key thing that you need to figure out is which, first handful of target customers are going to give you a chance to validate this on you and take a bet on you. And in this stage, given how complicated this thing is, it's kind of a consulting project that you're going to have to take on. And that requires trust. So that's why I'm asking you, is there anybody in your orbit whom you know, who will be willing to give you that beginning, that start? Otherwise, you have to go through a process of, pitching to lots of people and, which is...
That is common, right? No, you're right. But is that common to most new ideas that you have to find your customer, you have to talk to multiple people, get their feedback and do that.
But the word quick is that who is going to give?
No, okay, yeah, you're taking offense at my, but okay, I that's fine. I appreciate that.
Offense at anything. I'm just trying to help you understand what is the job ahead. The job ahead is to find customers to validate or invalidate your approach. And this question number 2 is also going to come out. The answer to the question number 2 is going to come out of that process. If you can get customers to engage in a proof of concept process, that's where you'll get features. I have no idea what features you need. I'm not supposed to have any idea what features you need. So at the moment, you're going to probably spend 18 months doing services project. This is the answer to your question number 3. Mm-hmm. You need to go find customers, and you need to go find, you're going to probably spend 6, 9, 18 months working with these customers and actually solving problems, getting paid and figuring out what a product looks like. But I have the feeling that this is going to be a services business for a little while.
That is true.
So
That is true. Yeah.
I
Very
don't
true.
think it's going to be a SaaS business anytime soon.
So basically, what I anticipate is that once you work with a client and give them satisfaction, then you can give them the product for an ongoing internal tool to use to solve their problem. Once they have worked on one project, then we can license the product to them, and they can use it internally as I visualize.
Maybe. Or another possibility is that you will develop a services company where you use your framework and your methodology and you solve problems as a services company. That's also another route to go. See, there is SaaS, the traditional SaaS model is DIY, do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There is another kind of SaaS model that has also emerged, which is do it for me, DIFM.
Mm-hmm.
So in a DIFM model, you and your team are using your framework and your methodology, and you're doing the work for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's also an option for you. We don't know yet which direction this business is going to go. Until you start working with customers and start engaging with real customer situations, you're not going to find answers to those questions. So first order of business, let's start getting customers in.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.